Sounds very similar to my Husqvarna parallel twin, but it's different. Marauders, welcome back to the channel. So I've just done a lap on the 1390 Super Duke a ride, and now I'm going to take 990 Duke out for a ride and give you my impressions. I'm pretty fond of these KTM motorcycles. A little slack in the clutch. I'm pretty fond. Let's turn our high beams on. I think I have more than enough fuel. I'm very fond of KTM motorcycles. My Husqvarna is essentially a KTM 890. We'll give it a ride. The 1390 and the 990 are so similar. Definitely, without a doubt, the 990 has a more relaxed riding position than the 1390. Much more relaxed. Definitely in the leg position. The leg position is not as aggressive, and the upper bodies, and it is slight. Trying to push my butt back on the seat. To me, when I move around the 990, it is so much lighter than the 1390. This engine sounds like my Husqvarna 890 engine. This is a 990, almost a 1K bike. Sounds very similar to my Husqvarna parallel twin, but it's different. And definitely you have to use the gear. I could go 45 miles an hour easily on the 1390 in first gear. I mean, it doesn't even break a sweat. The 990, you definitely have to, work the engine and the gears more. And realistically, the 1390 for street riding, what I'm doing is way overkill, where the 990 is more realistic. This engine is my Husqvarna Norden 890 is 105 horsepower, I believe. I'm not going to get into torque. Maybe I'll post it. The engine on this bike is 123 horsepower. Now that I'm riding it for the second time, I can feel that it's different. It feels like a totally different engine. And again, the KTM's noted they're not a 270 degree parallel crank 270 degree crank on them. They're, I believe, 285. It's an argument whether the 285 is really more optimal for power on a parallel twin. Whatever KTM does / Husqvarna, it works. So I'm going to take a lap on this and then see how the video comes out on the camera, because sometimes they have audio issues. But it's a nice bike. Actually, the 990 suspension wise on the street has a softer ride than the 1390, and that has an electronic suspension. No electronic suspension on this job. Of course, all the bikes are fuel injected. Similar features. The headlights are identical. I believe the rims and tires are the same sizes as the 1390. Headlights are the same. What else? Very similar looks. very similar looks. Until you look at the engine, it's hard to tell them apart. This one, as slight as the riding position is different from the 1390. Scrape my camera on the ground. Definitely this for 59, 60-year-old, which I am. This is definitely the more comfortable bike. Now I went through here in third gear on the Super Duke, doing about 3,000 RPM, and I'm over 4,000 RPM on the 990. Just to give you a power, you really can't even put for around town driving 50 miles an hour and below, maybe even 55. You can't even get that Super Duke in the sixth gear. This bike, I'll do it on the next road. You can easily put it into sixth gear. I'm going to extend the ride on this. So I am interested in a naked bike. I'm very interested in it, and I've driven the Triumph motorcycles. I haven't posted those yet, but by the way, this outfit is my Induction Pro Climb Induction Pro jacket and induction pants, climb pants, and I've done 3 rides on them so far. I really like them. And again, I'm not going to be a hooligan on a dealer's motorcycle. I'm not going to do that. But let's drop it in the third. Trail braking position. Getting more of a rider stance here. Someone's having a fire. Try that roll on fourth gear. We might do a double lap here. Something's happened where my neck is actually stronger. Definitely geared for the sixth gear is definitely not as tall on this bike. I can't use the cruise control. Cruise isn't on. How KTM gets the torque out of these engines has really baffled me out of a parallel twin. This thing is a torque monster. Just a torque monster. And I'm comfortable on this bike. Actually extremely comfortable. Much more comfortable than on the Super Duke. Get the torque out of this engine. It is just amazing. I really like something I'm doing. I don't know what it is. Okay, let's make this turn. I think the break-in period is 600 miles on these bikes. I mean, it just seems excessive. So I really can't get much above, I can't go above 6,000 miles, 6,000 RPM, I think it's telling me. Got to really rack on the miles on these bikes to get out of that mode, right? They have a steering stabilizer on these bikes on the 990s, if you can see it down there. I almost wonder, I think it's so you don't steer it too fast because they're so responsive with that small front tire on it.
Marauders, I will have longer rides on both the 1390 Super Duke and the 990 Duke. I have to tell you, I'm hooked on these motorcycles. I think they are class leading in more ways than one, and I can't wait to share with you some of the other videos. Hope you enjoyed this first impression video. Get out there and take a test ride on any motorcycle you're interested in buying. I hope to see you on the trail, and thank you for watching. Stay tuned, more to come on these great motorcycles.